Welcome back to the channel. I'm Carrie Fitz, owner and broker of Carrie Fitz Real Estate in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Fairhope, Alabama, and Pensacola, Florida. Today we're talking about appraisals. It's a part of the real estate process that can completely change the outcome of a transaction. Most buyers and sellers don't think much about the appraisal when they first go under contract. Everyone's excited. Negotiations are done. Inspections are complete, and it feels like you're on the home stretch. But then the appraisal happens, and suddenly everyone is holding their breath waiting for one number, the value. So what exactly is an appraisal? An appraisal is an independent evaluation of a home's market value. It's usually required by the lender when a buyer is using financing. The lender wants to make sure that the property is worth what the buyer has agreed to pay for it. Because remember, the bank is the one lending the money. They want to protect their investment. The appraiser looks at several factors when determining value. They analyze recent comparable sales in the area, the condition of the home, the size, the layout, the upgrades, location, and the overall market trends. After reviewing all of that, they determine what they believe the fair market value of the property is, and ideally, that number matches the contract price. When that happens, everyone moves forward and the deal continues as planned. Yay. But when it doesn't, that's where things can get complicated. Let's say a buyer agrees to purchase a home for $500,000, but when the appraisal comes in, it's showing $475,000. That $25,000 gap suddenly becomes a major conversation because the lender's only going to lend based on the appraised value, not the contract price. At that point, there are a few options. The seller can agree to lower the price to match the appraisal. The buyer can bring additional cash to cover the difference. We saw a lot of that during COVID. Or the two sides can negotiate somewhere in the middle. In some cases, buyers may challenge the appraisal if they believe there were errors in the report or better comparable sales available. But the reality is, the appraisal can absolutely influence whether a deal moves forward or falls apart. That's why pricing strategy from the very beginning is so important. If a home is priced significantly above what comparable sales support, there's always a risk the appraisal won't justify the contract price, even if buyers are willing to pay it. And in a competitive market, this can happen more often than people realize. Multiple offers can drive prices higher, but the appraisal still has to reflect actual market data. This is where having an experienced real estate professional matters. A good agent doesn't just look at what a seller hopes to get for their home. They analyze the market. They run comps and the likelihood that the home will actually appraise at that value. Because the goal isn't just to get a contract. The goal is to get to the closing table. For sellers, preparing your home properly can also help support value. Clean presentation, documented upgrades like invoices for work you've had done, and making sure the appraiser has access to relevant information about improvements that can all play a role. For buyers, it's important to understand how appraisal contingencies protect you during the process. They provide a layer of security so you're not obligated to overpay if the property doesn't support the value. At the end of the day, the appraisal is simply one more checkpoint or contingency in the transaction. Sometimes it confirms everything we already know. Other times it requires a little creativity and negotiation to keep that deal together. But when both sides stay flexible and solution-focused, most appraisal challenges can still lead to a successful closing. Well, thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you found this episode helpful, share it with someone who's currently buying or selling a home. And remember, real estate transactions have a lot of moving parts. But with the right guidance, you can navigate every step with confidence. Until next time, stay informed and stay prepared. Carry on.